Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Dr. G and the Boss. I'm Dr. Garrett, and this is Holly Hajjaj.
Holly Hajjaj is going to adjust the camera here
Where,
just a second.
she's gone. Where'd you go? Okay. So, make sure that you guys share the video. I'm glad you guys are attending. Today we're, second week? The third week? Second week?
I'd say we've completed the first official challenge week with everyone.
Yeah. Hey, Tim.
Today.
And Brandy. Hey, Brandy. So, this is second week of completion, right?
Second week for us, but
For us.
first
But
week
not
for
for
everybody
them.
else.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been doing the Dr. G Wellness Challenge, which is basically, I've been doing this stuff with patients for, 14, 15 years. And so what we're trying to do is then say, well, what happens if I go through and do exactly what I tell all my patients to do, and then be completely transparent about the whole thing?
Hey, hang on. Can you guys see us okay? I've got a couple of people, or one person saying they're not seeing anything. Or, maybe that's a joke. Is that a joke, Brandy?
Damn it, Brandy.
Okay. Maybe that's a joke. Let us know if you can see us.
This is why I never trusted Brandy.
Give us some thumbs up or say, I see you. So we know we're not having technical difficulties.
Yeah. All right. So last week we had our competition, and we went through our sheets with you guys, and I'm really excited to kind of see what you guys are doing, what your questions are this week. I know last week, I really didn't have a whole lot of struggles. I feel like my back has been kind of seizing up. Maybe I've been having a lot of back pain from carrying her through this challenge.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like
if
there
you
was.
want to have a supportive accountability partner, I'm just gonna say it's not him. Just
I am your accountability buddy.
Just accountability rude.
There was 4 footsteps, and then there was 2. Because that's when I had to carry you through the competition.
Can you let me post some stuff and then we can talk about that a little bit more?
Oh, I guess so.
Okay, our updates. And if you guys, were you on updates? Is that what you were talking about? Challenge updates?
No.
Oh.
Maybe.
If you guys have updates, will you share those with us?
Yeah.
If you did the challenge this last week, will you type in your challenge? Maybe just a few words, or as many words as you like. But tell us how you did. The good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like to know.
So has everybody been watching me post my food? Because one of us has been posting our food.
Here's the thing. One of us
I feel like 2 of us are competing, but one's posting food.
One of us has integrity that you can assume. And that one is me. The other one has half integrity when he's practicing as a doctor. And that's good. Full integrity, 50% integrity.
Just because you lie to patients all the time about what you eat doesn't mean you don't have
Wow.
Although I never lied. Occasionally patients, I just assumed. I let them assume. But that was not... But now I'm transparent. So you're saying you don't have to be transparent.
I do have to be transparent. I just don't have the time to post.
Oh.
Some of us work for a living. So, anywho.
So last week my struggle was exercise. I didn't do any exercise. So the food stuff's not been a problem for me at all. I haven't really been tempted. I haven't cheated on my food at all. That part's been really easy. A few times it's just you could eat a piece of pizza, but I'm not posting that. In fact, this weekend I took my girls to the Pride Parade, and they had chicken, and they kept trying to, chicken nuggets, and they were trying to feed me a little piece, and they're like, come on, you gonna post this, Dad? You gonna post this? And they kept trying to shove it in my face, And normally when I eat bad, they're always like, Dad, you got to get healthy. We can't have that because you're going to get healthy. Now that I'm doing it, they're trying to sabotage
tempt
me.
you.
And I stayed true. So I felt pretty good. And this week, same thing. But the exercise, so I haven't done the exercise yet. So then I feel kind of like my patients do, where it's just like what the hell's the excuse? You do part of it, but not the other part. So I need to start, my focus this week is then, because I got the food thing done, I feel really good, I feel really stable about that, but I need to start doing yoga in the morning, and then probably either walking in the morning and afternoon, or morning and before, when I get home.
Hey, I need to jump in here real quick. We've had one other person say they're having technical difficulties. Is anybody else having technical difficulties?
Try rebooting.
Tiffany says some of us work for a living. Thank you, Tiffany. So, and that's what we want to do here. That's part of, we're having fun and we're playing, but we also want to be realistic.
Yeah.
Too. So it's great if you're doing great, but I think we all connect with one another and form those bonds through our struggles. And this week was definitely a struggle for me. I would say I almost completely fell off the wagon last weekend.
With alcohol?
Off the food wagon, the good food wagon.
Food wagon, okay.
Yeah, the good food wagon. Anyway, I feel like we need a food support group, and we do. Amy Simpson did create Dr. G's Neighborhood. There's a Facebook page called Dr. G's Neighborhood that is the start of something like a support group.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fell off the wagon. I was exhausted and stressed, and I really became aware of how much I use food as an emotional crutch. But I think maybe when I get fatigued too, I crave. I keep thinking that food will somehow make it better, whether it's emotional or physical. And so on Saturday, I was craving like 100 chocolate chip cookies, and I wanted coffee, ice cream, layered in between those cookies, and I think maybe some of you saw that post. But it was a little bit rough. And so the question becomes, when it's rough, when it does get rough like that for all of us, what do you do? Do you go ahead and give up completely? Maybe you do need to take a break. Maybe, Dr. G and I talked about it too. Like, I was having some sleep issues too, and so it was like I was really tired, really exhausted. What do? I think you have to find the actual thing that's going to help, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I think it was rest is what I needed. And then it's, okay, try again. It's not get down on yourself. It's not punish yourself. It's not feel ashamed. It's not feel like you can't do it at all because you can't compete with your buddy this week. But it's, okay, let's get back up and try again and see how that goes.
Yeah.
So those were my thoughts.
So there's no failure as long as it's you're progressing the right way. And that's the thing is people constantly, and this is why we're doing this, because no gimmicks, no quick fixes. It's the hard way, which is the right way, which is the longevity way for that sustainable lifestyle. But it's hard. It really is hard because people cope so much with food. And so I think mine, I didn't really ever cope. I eat my emotions a little bit, I think, through years of marriage. But I think that I also use, like, movies as my coping or my kind of recharging. And so, like, I've been able to go to the movies if I feel, like, really overwhelmed or anything like that. But that's got to be different because most people, they're going to use food for that. And so then they don't have, like, an extra outlet for it.
Yeah.
So, and I like that Holly, in the nicest way, failed several times, right? Because that is what patients go through.
Well, and here's the other thing. It's not necessarily, I don't see it as a failure. What I see it as is information. It's information for me. Yeah. How much am I able to handle? How realistic is it for me to take on literally everything on our challenge sheet? Is that realistic?
Yes.
So, getting back to it, but just see these rather than judging these things as good or bad, see them for what they are and what kind of information that gives you about yourself and where you're at and how you need to proceed.
Yeah.
So it just kind of helps you reevaluate, I think.
Yeah. Because you want to see that other people stumble and then get back up, and they stumble and they get back up. Because that really is what you see more often than not. It's very rarely we have patients that are just like, okay, that's what I'm doing. And we have them every now and then. But most times it's just like, okay, this was really hard. These are my struggles this week. Here's my struggles this next week, you know? And so try to find how to overcome those. And we have one patient that we have this thing where if she screws up, she actually pays her husband money for cigarettes, and she hates that. So that's her negative motivation to not trip up. And so again, she's like down 10 pounds, even though she didn't meet her benchmarks like she's supposed to. She still keeps losing weight, right? So she's 10 pounds lighter, and she hadn't been able to do that the whole year. And again, it's going to be sustainable as we keep going through this. She just has her little tiny hiccups, and then she gets back on track and has a little hiccup and get back on track. But her hiccups are a little less and less of a problem.
Right.
Which is nice.
And I think you should be okay. If you've chosen to go with baby steps, be okay with that. And just really commit to your baby steps.
Yeah.
So we were going to, today, talk about the food section of the challenge. And we'll go through it. If you don't have your challenge sheet in front of you, that's okay. We do. But we were going to go through the food section and talk about why those were Dr. Garrett's choices. But we would like to know, in the food section, what interests you? What do you want to talk about first? So, food-wise, and it could be anything. If you don't have your challenge sheet or you didn't do the challenge, throw it out. Throw out a food or a drink or something relating to food, and then we'll bring that back around to our challenge so that you can create some more value and meaning for what you're doing with our challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
So, by the way, thank you everybody who's joined. Deb, Brandy, Tiffany, Geraldine, I saw your post. She's posted an update on how she's doing on walking.
Oh, awesome. Okay, wait, what does it say?
Geraldine says her LG Health app on her phone says that her walking goal is 10,000 steps. That turns into 3 miles. She just needs another 3,000 steps today. Been doing about 75% as a rule.
Nice.
So she's got a realistic goal.
Yeah.
That she's working towards, 75%.
Well, and we always say the solution for most all health problems is don't be American, right? Don't eat, drink, breathe, and rub stuff on your skin like Americans do. But also don't move like an American. Move like other countries. And 10,000 steps is what, say, the average European walks, right? And in New York, do you know what the number is where they walk all the time? It's only 5,000.
Oh, wow.
So as hustle bustle as you think they are, they're really not even moving. They're half as much as the rest of the world. And what about Kansas?
I'm sure it's even less.
Oh, that's racist against Kansas. Why do you hate Kansas?
I'm just being realistic. I'm a realist.
I count my steps by cornfield. Like, I walked 300 corn links today. Maybe that's Iowa.
That is...
No, we're wheat. I'm sorry. I don't know how long a wheat field is, but three grapples of wheat lengths. Is that a thing? Well, so...
Yeah. Help. Save him.
So, Geraldine is doing awesome because she's not being a Kansan. The average is 2,500 for Kansans. So, if she does 10,000, she's 4 times better than a Kansan.
Awesome.
So that basically makes her a Massachusetts. Or 20 times better than an Oklahomian. All right.
Okay. Deb, thank you for sharing too. Deb has talked about her stumbles and struggles as well. Thank you. Guys, if there are people that you know might be interested in doing our challenge or just interested in knowing more about the things that we've picked for the challenge, please share our show. share our show.
Share our show with a
If you
sibling
could
S.
share, that would be great.
Gotta have the
So
sibling S.
Geraldine says that's because she was raised in Alberta, Canada.
Oh, well, that's like 3 Americas. Or
So-
12, I don't know.
Okay, well, we're going to start on our food list.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So Dr. G,
So
lead
let's
the
start
way.
with red wine.
He thinks that's funny, but
She gave me so much crap because I was writing down all these different wines. And she like,
it appeared as though he was going to make the entire show about wine.
so then you
So-
started whining about wine.
All right, so
Okay, so basically there's 7 schools of thought when it comes to wine. No?
what would you guys like to learn about?
Okay, so the first one is water. So, does anybody know the goal for how much water you should be drinking?
Yeah, how much water? Because I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed that on water intake on the challenge sheet, it didn't give a listing for
No.
how much. So how much water do you think you should drink?
So this week I did not do my 90 ounces all week. I did like 3 cups of, maybe 4 cups of green tea a day. But I even brought my water jug that had blueberries in there and a little splash of orange juice. And then I put that by the couch and I sat there and drank it while I watched movies. And I still didn't get all mine, so...
So does anybody know what the standard is, or Dr. G's standard for how much water you should drink? Oh, we have an answer.
Kellen knows.
Half your body weight in ounces.
That's right.
Half your body weight. You don't have to share your body weight, but you can calculate that on your own.
Leave it to a Iowanian to know that, see?
Yeah.
So, yeah, half your body weight in ounces. So the average in 1910, when they established the USDA rules, Dr. Atwood and Samuelson, they said it was half your body weight. So they took an average adult male, average adult female, put those 2 weights together and divided by 2, and it was 128 pounds. So in 1910, the average American weighed 128 pounds. I think the average guy was like 140. The average female was 100. And so then half of that weight is 64 ounces. So that's where that 64 comes in. So kids don't need to drink 64 unless they're 128 pounds, which is about a 4-year-old in Kansas. And then the best water is, of course, reverse osmosis water, but filtered water or just water in the beginning. Water is what flushes out all the bad stuff that you consume. So as your liver metabolizes things and binds things to process out through phase 1, phase 2 detoxification, it has to have an outlet for that. And so people that have like gallbladder congestion, it's dehydration. People that have low kidney function, it's usually always dehydration. And then, women between 40 and 60 shrink 2 to 4 inches, and most of that is just due to dehydration. And so all those little disc spaces full of water are drying out.
And it's not just disc spaces, it's joint spaces as well.
Yeah.
If you've got achy joints, inflamed joints,
Yeah.
that water's really, really important. Also, doesn't it also thickens the blood, from what I understand?
Yeah, so the blood is parts per water, so the more water you have and less parts, the easier things flow through. So yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
So most people, even with high blood pressure, most people have what's called subclinical dehydration, or dehydration, which is leading to their hypertension. And so often water is like the easiest way to reverse a lot of people's blood pressure problems. Do you know that?
I did not know that. I kind of had that question at one of my screenings this week.
Surprised you didn't know that.
Hey, I can admit
You're a biometric queen.
when I don't know something.
So then what about green tea?
Green tea. Green tea. Who's had their green tea this week? Have I?
3 a day.
I had it last week.
I was thinking about doing a green tea enema just to get extra green tea. What do you think about that?
I don't want to see that posted on Facebook. That's fine if you want to. Just don't prove it.
So one of my favorite green teas was it's like yerba mate with cocoa in there or cacao, and so it's this chocolate green tea. It's this weird taste, but I kind of like it.
So why is green tea good for us?
Well,
Why is that on your list?
green tea, white tea, yellow tea are the antioxidant teas. So those are the ones that go through and they bind to the antioxidant or the oxides, superoxides that cause decay and aging of the body. And so the biggest thing that you want to slow down aging process or to minimize disease, reverse disease, is antioxidants. So anything green is antioxidant. So green tea, black tea, oolong tea, those are all the same tea leaves. It's the top 3 when they pick them. They throw them in their basket. And then the least amount of oxidation is white tea, then yellow tea, then green tea. And then they oxidize it even more until it turns black and gooey, and that's black tea.
Okay.
So it's all the same tea.
Hi, Newman. Thank you for your likes and hearts.
What up, Newman?
So,
That's
so there's a difference in caffeine, right, too, between like a black tea and a green
Right.
tea. And if you're avoiding caffeine, which we'll talk about when we get to coffee,
So which do you like better? You like white tea or black tea better?
I'm not going to answer that question. So there's some more hearts. Thanks,
There's
Newman. Love you.
So he gets out of control. All right. So with black tea, it's oxidized, and it has the more you oxidize tea, the more caffeine that's released. And so even with like anxiety, it takes about 350 milligrams of caffeine to start anxiety. Your average like Route 44 black iced tea from Sonic is going to be enough to cause a patient to have anxiety
Really?
all day long.
Really? All day long?
Oh yeah.
What's that mechanism again? Can you explain it briefly?
Well,
Stop. Stop.
so
I think you have tan lines from your glasses, by the way.
I do. Because someone's been getting the sunlight, which is the first one on the 3rd list of things to do. So, what was the question?
Caffeine, the mechanism of how caffeine causes anxiety.
Oh, so caffeine that's in high amounts will stimulate epinephrine to be produced, and then from your adrenal glands, and then that causes fight or flight, but you have no reason for fight or flight, so you just sit there like, man, what the hell is going on? Like, I feel like killing someone or running away, but I'm not sure why.
Okay.
Yeah.
So green tea is your best option if you're going to have a little bit of caffeine.
Right. Yeah, nobody gets jacked up on green tea. And you should really drink your green tea hot because it slows you down, and then it becomes more of a lowers cortisol kind of thing. Plus you get that little bit of caffeine.
And there's L-theanine in green tea, too.
That's right. The
She's
L-theanine, who said that?
I said that.
Oh, you said that.
Yes.
All right. L-theanine plus the 25 milligrams of caffeine that's in green tea literally makes you smarter.
Nice.
Yeah.
So green tea, people. Kellyanne has a question, though. Can you speak to rooibos? How do you say it?
Yeah, rooibos. So rooibos is a red shrubbery kind of plant in Africa, and that's just an herbal tea. It has very good medicinal properties. Excellent. So a lot of times people don't want to do green tea, so they can just do herbal teas, which are all medicine. Or you can do, like I put in a bag of green tea, like Uncle Teo's Organic. I'll put in 1 bag of green tea, and then I'll put in like a herbal tea, like
Okay.
rooibos. So, yeah, no, that's a great one. It's a great one.
Okay.
And then one of the questions we always get is what tea brands are good? And I always tell them basically from the belt buckle on up. But my mom was like 4'11", so that includes Celestial Seasonings too. So
He says no to celestial seasonings.
yeah. So basically, what are your favorites? Mine's.
I love yogi tea. The yogi teas are great. They have a unique taste.
Very
they're
tea-ish.
not very bitter.
Yeah.
And they're potent in their own way.
What the hell does that mean? You sound like a commercial.
That's because I'm
Is
a
that-
professional.
Did you find Yogi's Tinder account? I have my own special flavor. I'm very unique to the other teas.
I do voiceover work.
Did
for
you
them,
did you
okay?
slide left or slide right
Yeah.
on Yogi tea?
So, any hoozlebees. Back to the show.
Okay,
So
so
yogi tea,
Yogi.
traditional
What's
medicinals, traditional medicinals.
what's your favorite Yogi tea? Because there's two that are badass.
Well, I like the bedtime tea. The bedtime tea is really amazing.
That's like the
We
best.
talk about that all the time. If you have trouble sleeping and that's one thing you have not tried, try it. It
Yeah.
can also, it has adaptogens in it, so it can also help you with a mood issue if you're not afraid of being a little bit drowsy and you're struggling with anxiety. You could also
Yeah,
take
don't
some
drink it and
bedtime
drive.
tea.
I drank it the other day at a friend's house, and they took it away from me because I was just like, whatever, man, everything's all fine.
It's great.
I got the stress relief here. If you guys can see my tea, I got a whole bunch of teas.
Yeah.
So
Band saying they get all their tea from Natural Grocers and Spice Merchant. Yes. And we've got a Yogi tea and a Puka tea brand.
Puka's a good one. Who said
Yeah.
Puka?
Deb
Deb,
said
that's a
Puka.
great one.
P-U-K-K-A.
I know why Deb says that. Because she tried that cinnamon one.
Yeah.
Did you like that cinnamon? Deb, what's the one that you loved? Was it the cinnamon one? But there's one that I think Amy Simpson recommended that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What about Tazo?
I don't buy that one. I don't feel like I need to. The
Stash?
two that I like, I'm good.
Oh.
I shop around on other brands for jasmine teas or jasmine green teas just because I like jasmine. But beyond that, I don't feel like I need anything else.
So you don't need
But-
more than 2 teas at one time?
So,
You don't stray?
so we have quite a few
I
things
s-
to get through
All right, then.
today.
You want to get to the wine, I understand.
Right.
What
We
about
are-
matcha? Matcha or sencha?
I was thinking maybe we should talk about kombucha.
Kombucha.
Okay.
Matcha and sencha are the best of the best. We'll leave it at that. And then kombucha is fermented green tea or fermented black tea, depending what you get. The receptionist at the front started doing kombucha, and one of them loves it, the other one's freaked out by it. So it's awesome stuff, full of good bacteria for you. 5 beneficial bacteria, 10 beneficial yeast, 20 beneficial acids, and they're all wonderful for you. And those make B vitamins for you. So we should have a kombucha workshop soon.
We should do a whole show on kombucha, but Geraldine has the same thought I had when I looked at the yogi teas. Yogi green tea kombucha. They're
Kombucha.
calling it kombucha. And I had the
Yes.
same thought. I don't know how they can call it kombucha. How can there be any live cultures? Can they?
I think it's kombucha flavored. There's no way that it's going to kill the bacteria.
Right.
I think it's just a marketing thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the tea, because I've wondered about that too. When I used to teach microbiology, I should have cultured that and then seen what grows.
So,
So that brings us to red wine.
oh, we're at red wine. Uh-oh, folks. It's going to get wild in
Are you
here.
going to be okay?
I don't know.
Your shirt is the color of the wine.
I don't know. Need a 2-hour show. Thank you, Tim. That's true. I just have to keep somebody moving.
Oh.
So-
I'm like her bowels.
So,
She wants to keep me moving. So with red wine, basically, white wine is candy, or it was a soda with alcohol, just like beer, and so you want red wine. And red wine is 2 major things. One, there's a social part to that when you drink red wine, you have to sip it slowly, and so you end up socializing more and you lower your cortisol. The other thing is red wine is straight up medicine. And if people are used to drinking red wine, the goal is really just go to big liquor store, just look at about $9 to $13 bottles or less, and just pick a label that you really like. And that's truly how you're supposed to be picking wine. There's a great documentary about wine that's out too, and it tells you about all the fallacies and falsehoods that we believe about wine, but they're not really true if you cover up the label. kind of all taste the same, from 2 Buck Chuck to Napa Valley to French wine. But like my favorites, I love a Malbec, I love a Shiraz, I love a Beaujolais, and a Syrah. What about you?
I told him he just created that list so that he could sound really cool.
I like those.
And speak French words.
Well, we're not talking about a Beaujolais Village. This is Le Marseillaise pour Rouge de Lille. Allons enfants de la patrie! No?
Dear universe, please help us.
What about German wine?
tonight.
Like Achschnatt, Düsseldorf, and Spleckenhausen?
So, what about for people who don't drink?
They have to
Eating
drink.
grapes is what I'm thinking. Eating Concord
Like green grapes?
grapes.
Green grapes?
Red grapes.
Red grapes?
You're still going to get the
Yeah.
same effect.
So I learned from that book, Eating on the Wild Side, that red and purple grapes are about the same nutrition. I didn't think that was true.
Interesting. You'd think the darker would be more nutritional. Okay. So,
And how much? How much red wine?
1 glass.
My car has a red wine holder in it. Well, I put one in there. So I feel like I'm supposed to drink red wine and drive.
Right.
Is that true?
And so, just look forward to Dr. Garrett being in jail soon.
And then
So-
what else? Green
Smoothies.
All right.
Let's talk about green smoothies. Oh, I don't need this guide. I have my own guide.
What?
I have the easiest, simplest green smoothie recipe in the world.
Green food coloring and a milkshake.
Half cup, half cup, half cup. That's it. Half cup,
Oh.
half cup, half cup. So half cup of your liquid
Yeah.
base.
Word.
So I do water, half cup water, half cup greens. You could increase the greens if you're okay with the taste.
Mm-hmm.
And then half cup, I usually do blueberries.
Yeah.
And if I feel like I want it to be a little bit sweeter, I'll put in a tiny sliver of banana, or I'll put in a piece of peach if I want it to taste a little more tangy.
Pizza fish.
But half cup, half cup, half cup. If you've never made a green smoothie before, it is that simple.
What about the option?
And you can do it in your blender, and it's great.
Yeah.
Rinse out the blender right away. Afterwards, you're ready to go for the next day.
What would you say? Half cup.
Half cup, half cup, half cup.
So greens.
Liquid, greens, fruit.
All right.
I don't feel like I really need anything else. And the energy that I get from that is amazing. Whenever I drink a green smoothie right before teaching my yoga class, I can tell a difference. My brain works so much better in all those cueing, with all the cueing that I have to do for my class.
You should start drinking those before the show.
Can you please help me? Someone please help me and support me.
Tiffany knows what I'm talking about.
Tiffany supports me.
Hey, so I also found this online, and it's called the Ultimate Green Smoothie Guide. And so you can just go in Google and type it in. And so it's pretty cool. It's just like she said, is you have pick your liquid, pick your green, pick your fruit, pick your extra, and then any kind of added little like green powder or cacao or matcha tea or maca or something like that. Bee pollen.
Yeah, if you have the time to do some of that extra stuff,
Yeah.
that's great. If you're in a rush,
Yeah.
it takes me all of 2 to 3 minutes to make that.
Yeah.
So
I always just grab stuff out of the fridge, but I never had like a real rhythm to it.
yeah.
Just did it.
So that's drinks. That concludes drinks. We
Yeah.
barely even touched on food.
Well, the food part.
Shall we touch into the food part then?
The food part's easy. I mean, for the most part, like if you guys have been watching the stuff that one of us has been posting, was it you or me? Oh, it was me. It was me that was posting the stuff because I have to be transparent.
Right.
Because you don't have to be.
Because I question your integrity.
All right. So now you sound just like the Border Patrol. So with those, basically it's just fruit, vegetable, nut, seed, berry, legumes, and greens. And, you know, I post my stuff, and all I've been is just pretty simple stuff. Like, it's been horribly basic, and I really thought, oh my god, I'm just wasting people's time taking pictures of this nonsense. But, sorry. But I've had pretty good feedback. And really, I guess it was just more simplicity. There's a few things that I cooked, but really, I've just been keeping it super simple so I don't get tripped up. I don't get overwhelmed. I'm a guy, so I don't multitask very well like women do. I don't want to get too confused with a bunch of processes. So I just keep it really, really simple. So, and it's been awesome. So I went to the Pride Parade with my girls, and we just, I just had nuts in my, I just had a bag of mixed nuts in my pocket, and I really found out like cargo shorts are badass for guys that want to eat healthy, because I like had a bag of nuts in one of the cargo pockets, and then I had a bag of carrots and celery and cut up vegetables in the other one. And so I was just like walking around, everybody's eating crap, and I'm just sitting there munching on carrot sticks. Yeah? Pretty impressive.
Really impressive.
You sound like you look like you could give a crap about that. Come on, this is... And I went to meditation
That's because
class.
not everybody wears cargo shorts.
I know, but you should.
Maybe we should just start wearing fanny packs again.
No, that ain't gonna work. I saw a lot of women wearing cargo
How about
shorts.
the tiny knapsack?
Knapsack?
We could wear the tiny knapsack again. I'm sure some of
You
you
guys
remember
have
it.
giant purses.
Yeah, but we want something
No.
convenient that you don't have to lug around. Do you know how heavy my purse is already?
Yeah, you just gotta pull that crap out and put some food in there and you're good.
So, does anybody, just before we wrap up on food, does anybody have anything specifically food-wise you'd like us to talk about tonight? Well, we have a few minutes before we get into talking about labs. Any food questions? Any whys? Any
Hows.
any hows?
Whos.
Any right?
Where's?
Right? Anything you're struggling with? Any questions you have? Burning questions about food? Tiffany says we're about to witness a throat punch. And that could very well be true.
I would never punch her in her throat, Tiffany. It's violence.
Oh.
It's violence.
Yeah. So.
Alright. Now, if you guys, just like always, post stuff on here, any questions you have, and I always go back through and I'll answer all the questions that weren't answered during the talk. And we're going to talk about something. You guys have noticed that I've had a little cough.
Well, can I preface this?
What does preface mean?
Preface means
Yes.
that before we talked about the labs, we were going to discuss just a little bit about this food list that we've been using and how not everybody can eat all these foods.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
And-
That's a great topic. It really is. No, I'm mad props. This is good. This is really good. This is really, really good. Like, I've had this problem. You're talking about this problem. I think people have this problem, and it's a good thing to talk about.
Okay.
Take it away. I give you permission, and I will not mansplain
Wow.
and interrupt you
Wow.
like I keep posting
This
on
is
Facebook.
amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice if it could just be automatically.
So what
given
she's
props
saying is she wants to have
for
her own...
my own talk show.
I don't know.
No.
Now our own
No.
time to talk.
Oh
Alright.
yes.
I'm trying to explain, because a lot of times when you say stuff, it comes, like, usually you need a guy to explain it, like, no, that's not true. Alright, that's
So
mansplaining.
Tiffany, the throat punch might actually be something I'm going to consider here
All right.
pretty soon.
Alright,
So, no, I was just going to preface what you were going to speak about, which is that even some of these healthy foods that we have listed are not going to be appropriate for some people. And you might still be having troubles digestively or inflammatory-wise, symptom-wise. And so
Or digestible.
it's just something to be... yeah, I said that. It's just something to be mindful of. So we're going to talk about Dr. Garrett's food panel test because he found out some very interesting things.
No. Yes. Okay, well, no, you didn't even talk about the thing you were going to talk about.
What thing?
About how you can't eat all this stuff.
I just did.
You didn't say it. No. Oh, I thought you... Okay, then I take all that stuff back. Because I thought what she's going to say is, I have been trying to get 6 servings of fruit, 6 servings of vegetables, greens, and nuts and seeds, and holy crap. Like, I literally cannot eat that much. Like, it's crazy. I can't get all that food down me. You know?
I can't either. That's why I think we need to adjust our goals.
Well, that's the goal.
I think that really honestly when it comes to a challenge and to your own goals, I think you need to listen to your body. Because if you can't eat 600 servings of fruits and vegetables, but you are only eating fruits and vegetables, then maybe you don't need 6 servings.
Yeah,
right?
So you guys have seen those pictures I sent. Most of that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, the other night I was like starving, so I like took 3 avocados, 1 small Roman tomato, and some onion, made guacamole, right? 3 avocados worth of guacamole, and I could barely finish it. I was so freaking stuffed. Like I was like, that's insane. I could eat a whole pizza. Like 3 avocados is killing me now.
It's funny what your mind thinks too. Like I had a very light lunch, but it was all whole foods, and I did great energy and brain wise. And sometimes your mind wants to tell you, no, that couldn't possibly be enough. But sometimes you can be very surprised by how satiating these healthy foods are and can be.
So the goals are high, but I think it's good. Hopefully I can work myself up to that.
So, Dr. G, have any of you guys done the food panel? Is it IgG?
IgG.
The IgG food panel. Has anybody done this? Considering it? Curious about it? Can you tell everyone what it is?
I know a lot of people on here have. So this is the only test that ever makes anybody cry. And I want to cry because it sucks. And so...
So way to go out the gate with that positive.
No, it is. Because it's the stuff that you're eating. It's the stuff that you like. So it's like, oh, okay, so I'm doing this really good job. So I loved when I got this back because I was like, this is bullcrap. And then I was just like, in my brain, I was like, that's what every patient says. Because I'm like, this is what I eat. But I have this chronic cough, right? I got to figure out what's doing it because usually it's just coffee. But when I quit coffee and it still stayed around. And so I was like, oh, crap, what did I do? So what you want to see is, yeah, I eat some of these things a lot and I have a chronic problem. So when you get rid of that, it should get rid of the problem. So this whole test it's immunoglobulin gamma. What it's really testing is something called T-cell dysregulation, which leads to molecular mimicry, which then causes kind of inflammatory conditions like...
Can you tell people what that means in people speak?
People terms?
Yes.
So your immune system, you have T-cells, which are like neighborhood watch. They go around and their only job in your body is to say, do you belong here, do you not? So it should look at virus, parasite, fungus, yeast, and say, nope, you don't belong here, let's attack you. But if you're self-tissue, you should be here, right? So in a healthy individual, T-cells should be able to regulate and know what food is versus what pollen is versus what a pathogen is. But we're Americans, so what we do is we screw it up through stress, sugar, and chemicals. And if we do that long enough, we end up causing T-cell dysregulation. So it's like neighborhood watch, getting drunk, and then now they're on the outlook for mass murder in the neighborhood. And they kind of like, oh, it kind of looks like this, you look kind of like that, so let's attack you now. And when it misidentifies a food for a bacteria or virus, then it tells B cells to launch an attack. And B cells are like cops, so they're shooting antibodies. Those antibodies attack the antigen, but it also attacks mast cells. Mast cells spray out a bunch of histamines, and then whatever type of histamines those are, like H1, H2, H3, H4, they'll go to different tissues of the body and then cause chronic reaction.
So that would be wherever you're having symptoms.
Yeah,
that would be that histamine reaction happening in your body, which could happen anywhere for different people.
Right. So one person might be rosacea, another might be migraine, another might be irritable bowel, sometimes gastroparesis, sometimes neuropathy, can't sleep, menstrual problems, infertility. So it depends on which system it goes to, and which type of histamine it is. And then that becomes that person's chronic malady. And if we keep doing this, then every time they eat that food, they have that reaction, that histamine reaction. And then if we keep letting it go on, there's what's called double molecular mimicry, and that's when it does it again, except this time it looks at the food antigen, which looked like the bacterial antigen, and says your tissue antigen looks very close to that, and now you start attacking tissue every time you eat that food, and then that becomes like eczema, psoriasis, and lupus, and MS.
Those are your autoimmune
Crohn's,
disorders.
ulcerative colitis, all that,
Right.
So that becomes all autoimmune disease. So all autoimmune disease starts out through that pathway called T-cell dysregulation. So I don't have a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes I feel like I'm too strong, or I sleep too well, or I have too much energy.
Now let's go back to that cough that you mentioned earlier.
So I've been having
Should I talk about that cough?
All right. So I have the cough. So otherwise I feel pretty good, but I have that cough. And I notice sometimes, like, when I eat certain foods, I get a little, like, stomach problems and bloating. Bloating's my big one, right? First I thought I was chubby, and then I was like, no, Pat, you're big bones.
It's all air.
It's all big bones.
You just need to put a big needle in your belly. That's all.
It'd be like a balloon, like, float away. So
Right.
I think it's just a mix of big bone and bloating.
This portion of the show is called The Land of Denial.
That is by the Euphrates. So, what you do is I gave them my blood. You guys saw when they took it, right? And then Dr. Acula, he puts that blood inside of a little petri thing with an antigen from a food, and then they do that for 184 foods, and then they wait to see, does your immune system attack that food?
184 foods.
Yeah, so it's all the good ones, all the bad ones. It's really good. And then they see how much reaction there was. So there's a 1, 2, and a 3. And then 2 weeks later, you get a report back. So I got my report back. And I posted it. I'll post it on this one, but I already posted on my Facebook page, so you guys can look at it too if you want. But for the most part, like, I didn't have any meat problems, which was really good. And then it says I can't have bass, which isn't going to be a problem. Clams, oysters, the seafoods, that's not going to be a problem.
I highlighted the big ones for you.
But squid, I like calamari, but I can't do that. And tuna. I can do salmon, but I can't do tuna. So that sucks because tuna was my
You can't do tuna or shrimp.
I know tuna's my go-to though. Like wild caught tuna, I like that because I can just throw that together and eat it. I can eat that just straight out of the can, like cat food.
But they have salmon options.
I know. So
lots of different ways to get your salmon.
So I gotta do salmon.
Yeah, which is good too with that. I mix it with Vegenaise.
And like almost every grain is a problem for me.
Yeah.
But I don't eat bread.
Especially quinoa and sorghum.
Yeah, I haven't eaten bread in a long time. Everybody's wheat and gluten. But I can do buckwheat. And I can't do quinoa. And that sucks. I just bought a bunch of quinoa. So this is what my patients always say. But I just bought a whole bunch of this stuff. Well, yeah, that's what... You look through the stuff I posted, it's the same damn stuff.
So the moral of this story is, and you can continue here in a second, but the moral is that...
Thank you.
Well, that's why they call me the boss. So the moral of the story is that you can try all these really good foods, and that's great, but if you're still not feeling well, if you're still not functioning, if you're still having trouble, come see this guy and get your tests done.
Yeah. And this really is. I love autoimmune conditions because they're easy to fix, especially irritable bowel, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. But this is bullcrap. So I've been eating peanuts, like a lot of peanuts, and they make me cough right after that.
Mm-hmm.
And peanuts is high on there. And beans, I'm allergic to almost all the beans, except for hummus. But I can't have sesame, so I can't have tahini. So I can't keep eating freaking hummus from the store. I gotta make my own damn hummus.
So yeah, that's the other thing too in terms of like these gimmicky diets. If you're trying something if you're trying something and it's not working, like the other point about this test is that everyone's body is so unique. So he has these foods that he's allergic to, but we can almost guarantee that you're going to have different foods that you'll react to.
See, and I thought orange. I thought I'd be allergic to orange, but I'm not. But bananas, I eat bananas every single day. I eat blueberries every single, like that's what I've been posting on my thing, is bananas and blueberries.
Those are
has been a staple of what I've been eating.
Deb's asking, will insurance cover this test?
So, no. I mean, you can run it through insurance with a super bill, but usually no. They don't do it. They should, but that's the crazy thing. They'll pay for IgEs, which are worthless because most people know what their IgEs are. But they won't do IgGs, which is the most problematic stuff.
Yeah. But it's worth it. Because you could spend a year of medical bills.
Yeah.
You could spend way over the amount that you would pay for this test in medical bills.
Yeah, I even
within the year.
I was hesitating paying for it too, but I was like, how can I get a free test?
And the other really cool thing about this test is that even though you get these results and they seem like they're concrete and that's never going to change, the great thing is that if you follow the results of these tests, eating the things that you are supposed to eat, you give your chance of body to heal.
Yeah.
And then over time, you may be able to eat those other things.
Yeah, it gets way better.
So Dr. Garrett said that his was better this time he got the test, right?
Yeah,
you had improved.
My coffee was like a 0.9, which is like I've never seen anybody that high. And my wheat was that high too. So,
guys, I'm sorry to jump in right quick. I'm sorry about the technical issues. A lot of people having technical difficulties tonight. We apologize. We're not sure what's going on with that, but we've probably had 3 or 4 people at least tonight say that they're having trouble watching the show. Hopefully you'll be able to come back to it, and maybe we can do a little bit of investigative work.
Yeah.
To figure out what's going on with that.
I think when they're saying, like, hey, you got to change your food, they're like, oh, I'm having technical difficulties. We're going through a tunnel. I can't hear you guys anymore.
It's all blurry.
So this is bullcrap because I can't do coconut milk. And I do coconut milk all the time. And I bought... Okay, so I was really worried because I bought 6... I told my friend Sonia, she goes to Costco, right? I said, I want $40 worth of nuts, right? And she comes back with all these bags of nuts, and she said, well, actually, I spent $60, right? And so I was like, well, figure out the other 20 because I ain't paying. And I took all the... No, I'm just kidding. So then I was just like, okay, so I got all these bags of nuts in my freezer, and I was like, oh, please don't have nut allergies. Please don't have nut allergies. But one of my biggest ones was almonds. And so, luckily, the other ones that I eat... aren't a problem. So, but now I got to figure out what to do with all these almonds.
You can give the almonds to me.
I'll do that.
Or we can just pass them out all to everybody on the show.
We should get little baggies, and then we have the big bag of almonds, and then we could get stopped for possession with intent to distribute.
Almonds.
Yo, man, you need some almonds or what?
We got your almonds right here.
And I can't have cola nut. And I don't think I've seen anybody have cola nut forever. I think. But cola nut is what's in my live kombucha soda that I get at Natural Grocers. It's cola, and there's a root beer, and there's the Dr. Pepper flavor one. But they're all natural. They're non-toxic. They're awesome. But damn it, that's one I love. And I can't have tahini, and I can't have poppy seeds. And I have a whole bunch of herbs and stuff that I'm allergic to, too. So that's bullcrap. And peppermint and green tea. So, like, which makes sense because, like, I had green tea. I just had green tea. And I noticed when I have green tea, I cough a little bit, but I thought, well, maybe it's something else. And I just denying, just like every patient. I'm just denying. But
it's a mind game.
But it's nice. So now I got to make all these god dang changes. And
isn't this great, everybody? Because now he knows exactly what you're going through.
No.
I think it's great.
It's not great. It's crappy, and I should not have started this at all. I should have been chubby and happy and content and coughed a lot.
No.
That would have been better.
No, because now you can relate even better to your patients.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
So we didn't do Holly's because Holly would cry.
We will do mine. I'm planning to do mine.
But
I just haven't gotten my blood taken yet for that.
Because Holly will literally cry, you guys.
He thinks that that's the case.
She will cry.
Yeah.
It'll
he thinks that that's the case, but he makes a lot of assumptions about me, and probably 98% of those are wrong. I've been working at this food elimination stuff for a really long time now, and there have been points where I have literally been eating the minimum of everything, just enough to survive with everything excluded. So I hope I could manage getting my IgG test done.
You know the weird thing is? 96 to maybe 97% of people who say that cry when they get the test.
I spent 2 years crying over macaroni and cheese and pizza. I have already shed my tears. I have already shed them.
I know, but then people are like, "Oh, I gave up the crap. I'm eating healthy
There's
now."
only so many tears you can cry.
I can't have this stuff.
Yeah, at some point you just become numb.
There you go.
So,
numb.
So Heather has a question. How are you going to get your protein now that you have to stay away from quinoa, beans, and peas? Well, he's got nut options, too.
Yeah. So a gorilla, which is 6 times stronger than a human, half his diet is greens, the other half is fruit. So all the protein we need is in fruits, vegetables, and greens by themselves. So an elephant just eats greens.
And he wasn't allergic to all beans.
I wasn't allergic to any greens. Well, most of the beans I can't have.
And there's also fish.
I can have chickpea and lima beans.
He's been doing fish too, so there's always protein options.
I can have soybeans, so I can eat tofu. My kids love organic tofu. Tempeh. I like barbecue tempeh. Yeah, that's good stuff.
I wouldn't say you're a self-proclaimed 1,000% vegan.
No.
Right. No. So you've got options.
I'm veganish.
Yeah.
Well, so
he leans toward fruits and vegetables primarily, but
I have 4 daughters. One is vegetarian. Well, she's pescatarian. And then the other one is vegetarian, but she's not quite sure what vegetarian is, so sometimes she eats a hamburger. And it's like, so I'm a vegetarian too. So she's only 8, or she's going to turn 9 soon, so she's working on it. And so it's kind of interesting that when we go out to eat, 3 out of the 5 people at the table are mostly vegetarian. But I still eat meat. I just, like all through this, have I eaten meat? I eat fish. So I've been pescatarian. I don't think I had that grass-fed. No, that was a bean burger. I had bean burgers. The last 2 burgers. Yeah. I guess I've been pescatarian.
I'm a full-on omnivore.
I don't want you to think that just because I don't slaughter cows and eat their flesh, that I'm better than you. I don't want you to think that.
That's good because I don't. So
the best thing about being vegetarian or vegan is the self-righteousness that you get.
You know what I did this morning? I had some bacon. I did. I had bacon.
Did you eat bacon?
Can you believe it? I did. I had a little bit of bacon.
You have fallen off the wagon.
I told you I fell off the wagon, but not completely, because I had a lot of vegetables and fruits today, too.
Yeah.
So
protein you can get plenty through fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, berries, legumes, and greens.
Yeah, and we talk about things being carbs or proteins, but really they're a combination of these things, and primarily all biological structures are made up of proteins.
Yeah.
So don't get caught up in the verbiage.
Yeah.
On proteins versus carbs.
And a really good site to check out for that, because I know you're an athlete, Heather, is the No Meat Athletes. So if you look at like Rachel Godwin, or even like what's that other dude's name? I'm not gonna remember, but he's a huge bodybuilder. But if you look at what they eat, it's just like, I eat berries and freaking nuts and seeds and lettuce, and it's like nothing you would imagine a bodybuilder being. Ryan Nelson.
Until they got their IgG test done.
Ryan Nelson, and then
so
I did this. I did this the same way I do with patients: is change your food, and then you're like, yeah, I'm doing good. Okay, now here's what you can't have of those healthy foods, and then you're like, damn it.
It's not the end of the world. That's a positive thing. This test is a positive thing.
I gotta get rid of all this food at home.
Don't let the depression sway you. Don't let the shock sway you. It's a good thing. So do we have takeaways? Does anybody have any last questions before we sign off here? Once again, sorry about the technological difficulties.
No, we're not.
I'm not sure.
We're pro technical difficulties.
I'm not pro technical difficulties, so
I
want you guys to be able to see us.
Oh.
So, anyway, takeaways on this show tonight. Foods, challenges, blood tests.
Have you guys come up with a list of what the person that doesn't win is going to do? Maybe shave their head, or...
I think that one of us is more concerned with the competition than the other.
It's called a challenge.
And it is a challenge.
You were talking big talk in the beginning. How you're going to trash me. Oh.
I was.
Yes.
I was to some degree, but it really is not so much about beating the other person, but about creating your own healthy lifestyle.
You're right, but you can be right and lose the competition too.
That's true.
That's probably the real message.
And the difference between you and I is that I'm okay with that. So, and that's going to be my takeaway.
I was going to purposely lose.
That's going to be my takeaway.
Just to let you have the glory.
We are going to get our fasting blood tests in and take a look at those as well. So
so that
if there's anything you guys would like to know about, please type that in. Please type those questions in, especially for the next wellness challenge. Rebecca is just asking about the stipulations of this challenge. Dr. Garrett, can you post the challenge worksheet again for this week?
Yeah.
So we started the challenge starting on Wednesday, the day after the show, so that we could come back on Tuesday and explain how our week went. So he will post that for you.
Yeah. So it's a no gimmicks, just lifestyle only approach to wellness.
Yeah, and trying to do as many of those things as you can realistically throughout the week.
Yeah.
Share it with your family if you like. Create a little bit of
and I know some of you on the feed have already had some really good results, and if you guys would post those would be great too. Kind of tell people what you're doing. But I've been very proud of a lot of patients and the people on here that they really are doing a lot of hard work, but they're getting that sustainable result, which I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, and we all need good ideas too. So please share. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah. Someone's supposed to share something on here that I talked to earlier. They had something super awesome, but I can't remember what.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us, and share this with your friends in case there's something somebody else needs to know.
Yeah. Feel free to keep posting if you have questions. Let us know how it's going with you. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week, and we'll be talking more of the lifestyle stuff, and that's where Holly Hajaj shines.
I don't know.
Holly Hajaj shines.
All right, we're going to end on that note.
Yeah, but don't touch that button there.